What's up everybody, Greenskull here, and get comfortable because we got a ton of new Halo 4 information coming your way. Last night on Conan O'Brien talked about his role in Halo 4. He's gonna appear as an Easter egg in a hangar on one of the final missions of the game. Him and Andy Richter banter back and forth, and it's pretty funny stuff, so check out the video in the description. At the end of the segment, they actually showed off Halo 4 footage. So this is some footage from Halo 4 multiplayer. Man, is it ever looking smooth. But if you look in the middle here, it's now showing you your medals. So I don't know if that's because it looks like he has Forerunner vision equipped, where if you look in the bottom left, it's a little eye, so I'm guessing that's Forerunner vision, or if that's always there. But it's pretty cool stuff. Be sure to check out the whole video yourself. Red vs. Blue made 2 videos to celebrate the announcement of the release date of Halo 4. Halo 4 will be released on November 6, 2012. In these Red vs. Blue videos, there's a few things I wanted to point out that were interesting. So if you look here, Sarge's chest plate is different from the other Spartans. So this may be our first look at armor customization. Because if you look at the other Spartans, they have something coming up the middle, where Sarge only has things on the sides. And you see that gray blob there? That's a jetpack. But judging by how it's kind of tacked on and not very textured and ugly looking, that's not a final jetpack. It's gonna look much sexier. It doesn't look like any of these graphics are that near final at all. If you look through this sniper view, which is pretty cool in itself, you'll notice that there's no shadows on the characters. So that's pretty much saying that these graphics are definitely not final. So the game's gonna look a lot sexier when it comes out. In the last 343 Sparkast, they clarified a lot of things people were complaining about. So let's talk about these random weapon drops. First of all, they're called ordnance. So from here on out, random weapon drops are ordnance. They were called that in Invasion and Firefight in Halo Reach. There will be initial weapon spawns so you can rush out to get your favorite weapons right off the bat, but there will also be the ordnance. Now it sounds like they're not really that random. The randomness they were talking about, they said more refers to the type of weapon as opposed to the time and the place. They said, so if you're playing on a small map, you'll get ordnance of a sword or a rocket launcher. You're not just gonna get a sniper rifle. I think that's more the random factor. There is still some timers in place. It's gonna be obvious that weapons have dropped as you'll see it on your radar. You can actually get crushed by drop pods. That'd be really funny to see, but apparently it's really rare. It's such a small area and you get a good amount of notification that the weapons are dropping. I'm guessing around 5 to 10 seconds. And you'll always know that they use power weapons around the map. So for instance, you'll see a rocket icon, and as soon as that goes away, you know somebody picked it up. Kinda like what I was explaining in my last video, 343 says that ordnance is getting rid of the knowledge of these weapon timers. They don't want anybody sitting there with a stopwatch or constantly having to look at the time. They want you to prove your skill from core gameplay, which is what I've been stressing all this time. I think the less factors, the better. If you're good at Halo, you should be able to be good with the Halo triangle: grenade, shoot, melee. I don't think it's going to change things that much. Like, strategies aren't going to be that much affected by this. I think a lot of people are overreacting with the whole randomness of it. You can choose to customize your loadouts when you die. So think of this like Battlefield or Call of Duty. When you get killed, you can hop right back into the game, or you can sit there for a second, tweak your loadout, then pop back in. Now, whoa, guys, don't freak out over this. Again, wow, I made a reference to Call of Duty and Battlefield. Oh my god, other games. Halo is not turning into Call of Duty. Calm down. Halo will always be Halo. It will always feel like Halo. Instant spawning will only happen in, like, Slayer game types. You're not going to see it in Objective, so no worries there. David Ellis jokes that there's no Warrant Officer Grade 3. And if you guys played Reach and got to that rank, you'd know how excruciating it was to get past it. So it sounds like they're making the ranks a lot more evenly spaced. So you don't have to have any stupid ranks that make you rage quit. There's no one weapon to rule them all. So all weapons are balanced. If you prefer the DMR over the BR, you can do that. Now the DMR is a set rate of fire. They said at long range, if the BR and DMR are battling, the DMR should win. But as soon as you move in close, the BR is gonna win. The spread of the BR affects it from being as long a range of weapon as the DMR. So it's your call. What kind of player are you? Do you like to go in close or do you like to stay back? Frankie says the map formerly known as Warhouse. So the map I've been joking about this whole time has finally changed their name. I knew it was just a placeholder. There's no way they're gonna keep that. And BS Angel tweeted that Wrap Around Us also changed its name. So don't get used to those names, guys. They're gonna be switched. Recoil is predictable, so nobody should get too frustrated over it. Always having sprint leads to some interesting situations. Because you have an other armor ability, and you always have sprint, you can be sprinting and then jetpacking, or sprinting and then firing a hologram somewhere. And since everyone has sprint, running away is not a good idea anymore, because they'll just chase you. Now you have a limited sprint meter, and when you get shot at while using sprint, you will slow down. So sprinting to get away from action, and maybe even to close the distance with someone, is not a very good idea. Sprint is just speeding up the game and increasing your mobility. They said they used Halo 3 as a benchmark for the movement speed of the game. So if you go play Halo 3, check out the jump height and how fast you're running, and that's probably what Halo 4 is going to be a lot like. They talked about Forerunner vision. They said the closest thing they can compare it to is visor mode from ODST. So definitely see some different colors and things like that. And they said, yes, you can see through walls with it. There's been a lot of confusion about that, but you can, and you can see enemies with it behind those walls. But of course, there's only a certain distance, and it limits your field of view. So when you're using it, you can't see that much. So you're pretty vulnerable. Another thing about it is that it pulses out like a radar. So if you think of how a radar works, starts in the middle, expands like that. So until that radar actually hits the enemy, you won't know where he is. So you'll see him blip here, blip here. Not the most effective thing. It's absolutely for less experienced players, because if you're using it, you can't use better abilities like jetpack. If you don't have very good situational awareness, Forerunner Vision sounds like it's for you. They said the Halo 4's armor abilities are like rock, paper, scissors. They all cancel each other out and they all play together really well, where Reach was more like 5 rocks and a paper. And I'd agree with that. Another thing about Forerunner Vision is that when you're using it and players are nearby, they can hear you using it. They know that they can be seen by you. Armor Lock is confirmed to not be returning. Everyone had an idea it wasn't coming back, but it's finally been confirmed. No more Armor Lock, yes. They have a new system which internally they call Cortana Web. What it does is it helps track statistics and information about the games they play, so they can make sure the game is completely balanced. An example they gave was they said, oh no, I got killed too many times by that AR must be overpowered. They go look at the stats and they say, no, I was just a bad player. Cortana Web's definitely helping make the game fair, even, and a great game overall. Every weapon feels and sounds stronger. Nothing's too wimpy. They talked about grenades too. If you throw a grenade, it sounds like a lightning crack. Spartan Ops is getting me pretty excited. They said if you liked Firefight, you will love Spartan Ops. It's the logical progression from Firefight. There's actually going to be a CG series that ties into the Spartan Ops missions. So these do have a big impact on the story. Once you finish the campaign of Halo 4, you can keep playing it with Spartan Ops missions. And in Spartan Ops and in multiplayer, you're going to be rewarded for playing support roles. So if you want to be like me and just drive everybody everywhere, you'll still have good stats for doing that. That's it for this video, guys. A lot of information there. I had to make this video like 3 times. I kept screwing things up and but it's here. We're done. It's out. Enjoy this. So like this video, favorite, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about all these new details. Hey, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Greenskull on Twitter and greenskull.rul on Facebook. Almost at 1,000 fans on Facebook, so you guys can help me out there. See you guys when new information comes out. Boom.